One of the free speech fights in Everett, Washington, was one of the most brutally suppressed of all of them.
Well, it was really rough in Everett, them days. There was no, when we first started there in Everett, you know, there was no law against speaking on the street. They let the Salvation Army and others, everybody except up speak in a corner of the street. You know, remember, this was horse and buggy days, and people walked downtown or took the streetcar downtown and walked around. There was no, we didn't block any street or anything, but speaking there. And Sheriff McRae, when he and his deputies, they come down the street and beat us up, of course.
It was decided by the Free Speech Committee that we would go in still larger numbers, that the next time we went to Everett would be in daylight, and that we would advertise the meeting ahead of time. So we went. How many there were on the boat, I have no way of knowing. It was a regular passenger run.
We knew they were coming, of course. It was advertised a couple of days before it happened. Handbills all over town, and anyhow, it was on a Sunday morning.
The boat was loaded to capacity until they were as much to the last man that the boat was allowed to carry as passengers. So we went to Everett. Oh, how we sang. We sang on the way to Everett. Always singing. The IWW, wherever they congregated, no matter what they were faced, they were always song. But among them, I think the one that we sang most often was either Hold the Fort or Solidarity. Those songs they were sung, Hold the fort, for we are coming, Union men be strong. Side by side we battle, onward victory will come.
We knew they were coming and we were watching for them, and me and another fellow walked down there and tried to get on the dock. There they had a rope stretched across the street, which was against the law too, of course. But it's big business for you. They do any damn thing they want to. And the man that was on guard at that rope, I knew him right well. I knew him well. He was superintendent of the Ferry Baker sawmill, rifle over his shoulders. When we saw that, we knew there was going to be trouble because he had a gun on his shoulder. We knew darn well there was going to be something.
First was Don McRae. I remember him standing there, one hand in the air, one hand near the butt of his pistol. And he says, called out, "Who's your leader?" Someone answered, "We're all leaders." He says, "You can't land here." Someone from the boat said, "The hell we can't." And almost immediately after that, a single shot was fired, and then a volley from the dock.
I don't know how many they shot. Nobody knows. Lots of them went overboard. Some jumped maybe, and some fell overboard. It was terrible. And a fellow, then they try to tell you that they didn't shoot anybody in the water. I know better. This other fellow, too, I wish he was alive. He's gone a long time ago. One man was swimming towards shore. He got about halfway to shore. And we run down the beach trying to see if we could find a boat to go out and help him, you know. But they got him, the bullets flying around him, and then bullets come our way, too, over by the shore. So it was no use. You couldn't do anything about it. The fellow sank, and his hat was floating around it afterwards. And they claimed they dragged that for the bodies, never found any bodies. That's a lot of baloney. Oh, man, what they wouldn't do. I'll never forget it as long as I live.
Those Wobblies who weren't killed or wounded were arrested and charged with murder. Later, all these charges were dropped. However, the events in Everett proved to be almost a declaration of independence for organizing the loggers of the Great Northwest.